episode of Kate and Isaiah Living Large. I'm Isaiah.
And I'm Kate.
And on this episode, we are going to talk about plateauing and how we feel about it, how you get through it, all the pains and aches of plateauing. But before we do, I think it is life update time. What's up? What's new? What is the haps?
Well, in the last couple of weeks, I've had a couple of exciting things happen. One, I was published in a magazine called Ageless NB in Western New Brunswick, published by Teresa Blackburn, who was a journalism instructor of mine. It's not nepotism that she hired me. She hired me because I was good. And I wrote about my favorite topic, me.
Well,
just no, I wrote about the reason that we're doing this podcast. The title of the article is called Fat, Fabulous, and 40, and about my journey to lose 40 pounds before I turned 40, and wrote it a couple of months ago, just as I reached my goal. And it was, I wrote it just after my birthday, which was really fun and exciting to see it published and come to fruition, and also great to get paid to write.
Yeah, that's exciting that you're published.
Yeah.
Woo, another publication. One of these days, someone will just have to get all your publications in a book.
Well, yeah, I mean, I did write for newspapers for a long time, so that might be a big book. But it's nice to be published in a magazine. It feels really glossy.
A magazine that I definitely have heard of, for sure.
He definitely didn't hear of it. But, it doesn't distribute in St. John, New Brunswick. But Western New Brunswick, I believe, in the River Valley region, you know Ageless, and you know Teresa, who is just a wonderful human. What about you, Isaiah? What's been going on?
Oh, let's see. I have been working out, and well, this week I actually was not working out. I went Monday, and then I kind of got unmotivated, which will actually be a great part of our conversation today, because I've been plateaued for a little bit, and I was a little unmotivated to go to the gym this week.
That happens when we hit these plateaus, which is why it's probably a good time to talk about it.
But before we talk about that, I want to ask, have you signed up for our 5K yet?
Well, in fact, I have not, because I need to wait for another pay period. Dollars and cents are tight in this time of inflation, as we all know.
You have 2 weeks left.
I mean, I will sign up before we go. I'm definitely going.
We have 2 weeks left. You can still sign up, and if you're listening, watching, you can also still sign up. Again, it's the beer run. It's the 2023 beer run, and you can find them on Facebook.
2023 Port City Beer Run.
Woo!
And I believe it raises money for the Diabetes Association.
Yes, super excited for that.
Yeah, which is awesome.
We have also been planning some other stuff. We'll talk more about maybe next week's podcast. We'll talk about, because we got some stuff in the works with the SPCA coming up.
Oh,
so
cool!
That's fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Anything else new in the world with you?
I've been going to the gym, back to regular programming for me at the gym, which feels great to be back at it, and been pretty conscientious with what I've been eating. Not full throttle like challenge mode, but I think that's coming soon. But we can talk about that as part of the conversation. And the other thing that was pretty exciting that happened in the last couple of cycles is I tried my hand while holding a microphone at stand-up comedy.
That's fun. Where did you do your stand-up comedy at?
I did it at an event called the Inferno in Moncton, New Brunswick, where complete amateur comedians put their name in a hat, and they can get drawn to do a minute of comedy and then get roasted by a panel of comedians.
Roasted? I would not be able to get roasted doing comedy.
Well,
I can barely do stand-up comedy. Let's be real.
Well, the other funny part about it is I was actually on a date with one of the comedians.
Oh, jeez.
And so on a whim, I was like, yeah, sure, I'll put my name in, if you can imagine the setup.
And how did your 1 minute set go?
Well, I mean, I got laughs.
That's good.
Yeah. And more laughs than I initially thought up there when I listened back to the video, because I thought that the first half of the set 1 minute, so the first 25 seconds completely bombed. But it didn't. People were laughing, and then they really laughed at the punchline for my, my my big joke
Your big joke?
that I had rehearsed for.
The big one that we're not going to say here. We're going to hold it off for your big debut on Netflix, right?
Yeah, that's right.
You're going to have to wait for the Netflix series.
You can have the first speak here if I get my own Netflix series.
Can't wait to watch it on Netflix. I mean, or Hulu. I mean, I guess maybe you'll get picked up for just the States.
I would take Bell Media, really. I would take 5 TV.
Perfect. You heard it here, Bell. Contact us.
Yeah.
You could have Caitlin do a stand-up for you.
Yeah, I've got a tight minute.
Whole tight minute of stand-up. Whew. Think of all the advertising dollars.
Yeah. Otherwise, you just get this.
All right, I think we can get into our topic. So plateauing. So I have recently plateaued at 303. I can't seem to push past it. And I went to the gym Monday and I still was 303 and I just lost all motivation this week to go. That was a pain for me.
Well, yeah, I get that. So what have you been doing instead?
Nothing. I have just been hanging out, playing video games, and just wallowing in my don't want to do it.
Yeah, no, and I mean, that happens. I mean, I had a forced, as we know, I've talked about before, I had a forced break from the gym when I didn't have a vehicle. And then I got busy doing a musical and stuff like that. But I've been plateaued within about the same 5-pound range or 3 or 4 pound range. Well, it's basically since my birthday. So as I already mentioned, I had this lofty goal at the beginning of January. I'm going to lose 40 pounds before I turn 40, and I hit it hard. And when you've had weight on, the first bit always comes off pretty quickly when you do any kind of lifestyle change. And it did. And that is so motivating.
Right.
When I'm losing, 12 pounds, 14 pounds, like a pretty astronomical loss. I know this. I know this from past weight loss episodes. So I was like, I'm going to ride this high. And I kept coaching myself, but you are going to hit a plateau. That's okay. So it really was a mental exercise from minute one for me because I've been down this road a time or two before.
And I think right now is a really bad timing for my plateau too, because like it's getting nice out and it's harder to motivate myself to go to the gym in general because it's nice out, because I want to sit in the backyard and have a beer and enjoy the weather and stuff. So it's definitely a rough time to plateau in general.
It is. And I mean, we can say to ourselves, well, let's compromise with a walk. I'm still outside.
Right.
And yeah, I've been on a few walks in preparation for the beer run, but it isn't the same as the concentrated effort of going to the gym. And for me, it's all about schedule and consistency.
Right. Yeah. And I think that's, I need to get back, and I plan to get back. It's just, yeah, I was unmotivated all last week to just not go. And I just didn't go. I sat around outside for a bit and enjoyed the weather, and started getting in my weeb stuff a little bit more again, watching One Piece for all you weebs out there. Do you know what a weeb is?
No.
Oh, it's basically someone who's like super into like Japanese stuff, specifically anime.
I have seen One Piece, of like an episode of it. Yeah, I had a friend who was a weeb, it turns out, way back in the day.
Oh yeah.
I ditched him. Just joking. Just kidding.
This might be the end of the podcast.
Yeah. It was as soon as he made me watch an episode of One Piece. I'm totally kidding.
There are like over 1,000 episodes. So
at the time there weren't.
Yeah, now there is.
This was years and years ago.
Yeah, I mean, it came out in like 1990.
I think we're losing our crowd. I guarantee most of our crowd does not watch One Piece.
Well, no one watches One Piece. Fine, whatever. I'll talk about it on another thing. But but yeah, no, I've been weaving out instead of going to the gym, which I need to get back to the gym. I need to go. I need to push past, because yeah, seeing that 303 multiple weeks now, and
especially when you're so close to
that milestone, 300,
milestone 300, and that's kind of, I've been dancing around that 400 mark. So I'd gotten below 400 a couple months ago, right just before my birthday, and then I had reached more than 50 pounds lost, and I'd gone down as low, not that it's low, as 393. But then all of a sudden, I weighed myself. I didn't weigh myself for a while because I hit a headspace where I was like, nope, what I don't know won't hurt me, which is very much what I have done in the past. I'm like, if I don't know, it's not real. And I was like, so finally I did, and I'd crept back over that 400. And I was like, it was really disheartening, and I was pretty upset about it. And it was not as bad as I thought, though. It is not as bad as I was building up in my head. I think I had gone up to 402, and I was like, oh my God, this is the end. But what was really hard for me was going back to the gym, and I felt horrible because I'd taken that 2 week break. I had a hard time to like some of the movement and stuff. It felt like I had gone right back to the very beginning. It felt as painful and just like felt the feeling of hopelessness and like I couldn't get through it.
Yeah, that definitely is a feeling too that I've gotten when I've gone back before when I've plateaued and just not is that feeling of that you go back and you want to be where you were when you kind of stopped going, but realistically you have your atrophy isn't the real word that I want to use, but it's the
No.
word I'm going to use, is that your muscles have atrophied uh, back to wherever they were before you started working out. And so you have to relearn your muscles.
Right. The good news is I learned this recently that your muscle memory is actually really strong. So if you've ever been in shape, yeah, it'll take some time for in conditioning, but your muscles remember. So in this particular case, where it had only been a couple of week break, after the second round, the second week, I started to feel great again and felt really motivated at the gym and like I could do more things and I could lift heavy things. And what helped for me, Isaiah, is I found a thing that I was really good at and then I like maxed out on it. So when things are hard for me, cardio is harder, and anything that puts pressure on my back is really hard. But we ended up doing this workout that was all weights, and I was so excited. I was so thankful to Natasha at Afterburn for putting this all weight class together on a Friday evening because I was lifting like chest presses, and I started with like 25s. So I was like, I can definitely do more than this. And I ended up lifting 40 pounds in each hand.
Nice.
Which, that's the thing. She looked over at me and she was like, oh my God, you're lifting. I was like, I'm strong. And it felt really good. And I think that's in that moment, something clicked in my brain. And I was like, I'm back.
Nice. Yeah.
And the following week, things have gotten better and better and better and better. And we did this. Oh man, Isaiah, we did this finisher at a workout the other day. Like, not to be like, I work out, man, but the coach Matt, he had one of those sled push things. Like, did you ever use one in football? Yep. Yeah, I had never used one before I went to this gym, and we had to stand in a line. There was, I think, 5 or 6 of us, and one person was pushing, and everybody else had to keep pace with them. Okay. So, and we went back and forth and back and forth, and we were running and pushing and running and pushing and running. I mean, I didn't run, I walked, but still, it was back and forth. I hit it, and I was like, okay, I've got to tap out. I'm not doing well. And then I realized it was the last round. I was like, well, I guess I'll do one more.
Yeah, I think for me, I've got to get past my plateau. I got to add at least an extra day in, I think, of working out. I think that's going to be my key to get through this plateau, which will probably happen now. So I've been coaching Special Olympics, and this weekend coming up is our big tournament.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I'm super excited for our athletes for that. And so then we have our final swim, which is like our fun swim on June 1st, and then we're done for the summer. So I think I'll be able to add a Thursday onto my Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday schedule, which should help me give me something extra that I haven't been doing to like push over that edge.
I mean, it comes down to, for me, and this is advice that I've been given over the years, and for me it's worked. It's not necessarily about adding days or whatever. It's about consistently going to the times you've committed, and not to make you feel like, because I mean, I'm not. And also, they say, I mean, I read this a couple of times and had it confirmed by medicine. For actual weight loss, about 78% of it is related to what you're consuming, and only the rest is related to working out. Having said that, for me, the working out makes me want to eat better, and I'm more tired, and I sleep better, and all of
All
these
the extra
things
things.
that
Yeah, yeah. I think that's for me. I think that'll is definitely a part of it. More or less trying to put myself in a calorie deficit every
yeah,
day, which is the key really is to losing weight is kind of being in that semi calorie deficit
right,
of whatever you put in, you put out more,
yeah,
which is that's just basic weight loss
yeah.
stuff.
And I mean, it's one of those things that I think plateaus, I would guess. I mean, I am no expert, as I've said many times on this podcast. I'm not really an expert on anything. A
What?
couple of things, maybe. But um you can't always be in calorie deficit because your body, and I almost think plateaus are important uh to level out.
Yeah.
Because I mean, for me, I've had a pretty significant weight loss
Right.
in a short period of time. I'm not unhappy. I mean, I don't say I'm not unhappy. I need to keep going, but I don't feel bad that I did stabilize, because I feel like it's my body catching up
Yeah.
in a certain way.
Yeah.
But that also could sound like excuses. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I am happy with my weight loss that I've done, but I am not where I thought I would be at this point. Because again, I want to be my hope is to be 250 by the end of the year.
Yeah.
And so in order to really get there by roughly around this time, really the end of next month, I should pass through that 300 threshold.
Yeah.
And so I'm a little concerned about not meeting my goal at the end. And so that's also part of my not being motivated to go to the gym is like it's hard for me to stay motivated when I'm not seeing that gain that I thought I would see at this point.
Well, and I tell you, I can tell you this. Maybe this is something to be interested in, maybe it's not. My friend Katie, who I've mentioned on the podcast before, she is currently traveling in Europe.
Ooh.
And when she left, she missed her last two available gym days because she was getting ready for her trip. And she said, "But do you want to do another food challenge when I come back?" And I said, "Yes, I do, but I don't want to say," because I'm playing mental tricks with myself, because I know that if I was just like, "Yeah, I'll do the challenge when you come back," and then eat like hell for 2 weeks,
All right.
I'm having a vacation too. I said, "Yes, I do, but I'm not going to solidly commit to it because I don't want to set myself up for failure while I'm waiting for you to come back. But I will. So in another week or so, probably just post beer run, we're going to start a new food challenge, and maybe that's a way to get over the hump. And
Yeah, maybe.
I can send you it's really not terrible. It's not terrible at all. Basically, it focuses on lots of protein, a lot of vegetables,
Yeah.
more vegetables than anything else, some fat to make sure you eat that. Because if you're not eating a little bit of fat, healthy fat, you don't feel full.
Right.
And then like limiting sugar and stuff.
Right.
It's and carbs, but still there. It's not like a full thing. It's a lot, and there's tons of food, and like there's lots of recipes, and it's actually kind of fun for a little while.
Yeah, that sounds interesting. Maybe I will join you guys on your food challenge thing.
Yeah, and I mean, we could do 4 week or 6 week or whatever. It's just, for me, what I find it helpful for is a plateau.
Yeah, and I need to motivate myself and push myself through this plateau, and that's the key. And I think like I was talking to my cousin the other day about not being motivated to go, and that was she was like, well, now you've now you've motivated me to at least do my 10 minutes of workout every day. And so she is now working out again, doing her thing, and kind of
that's great.
semi motivating me to try and get back to the gym. So hopefully this week I will definitely get back, and we'll be pushing through, and hopefully we'll get through this plateau.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. I will say the other thing that's helped me from abandoning everything is this podcast, because there's a part of me that's like, oh, maybe I won't go to the gym today. Then I'm like, oh man, with the pod we're recording this weekend, I have to tell Isaiah how much I've lost, and I have to weigh myself at the gym.
That's right. That's right.
And then I didn't tell you I lost 3 pounds.
I lost 3 pounds.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I'm working on that. Gonna get there.
Oh yeah, you will definitely will. It's one of those things for me. Like I said, I've been expecting this to happen. Not that I made it happen, but it's just what happens when you have a significant amount of weight to lose. There's going to be ebbs and flows. And yeah, so for me, I was anticipating it. And I think because I anticipated it from the beginning, I didn't have that give up mentality that I so often have in the past.
Yeah. And I think for me, this podcast definitely keeps me motivated to try and go. It's just been this week, and I was not motivated to do it for whatever reason. I just was not. But I will get back. I will go. I promise all of you. I will be back in the gym. And we have that 5K coming up, so I definitely have to try and get a little bit of practice in on doing that, so we can get that going.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, plateaus. We if anybody has any advice too, leave it in the comments. I mean, unless your advice is stupid. I'm just joking. No, I'm just kidding. No, if anybody has done this, you've lost a significant amount of weight and hit a plateau, I recognize it as a thing to anticipate. And I know for me, it's about balance too. Like, you still want to have a burger sometimes, and maybe making the choice to order salad with the burger instead of fries.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'd like to see, if you guys have any tips and tricks that you guys do use to get through plateaus. I'd love to comment on our Facebook or on YouTube or wherever you're listening to us. Any suggestions you guys have for us or anyone else that's, listening and feeling the pressure to try and get through plateaus, for sure.
Yeah.
But,
all right.
Yeah, I think we should wrap it up. So where can people find you on the internet?
People can find me at the Caitlin Dean on Twitter, at Fat Caitlin on TikTok, Caitlin Dean on Facebook, and Kate D on Instagram. Nice. How about you?
You can find me
Maritime Brews everywhere.
Everywhere. And then, of course, you can find us on Facebook, Kate and Isaiah Living Large. And if you're listening on like Spotify or any of those things, you can also watch the video on YouTube. Highly recommend you subscribe, all that fun stuff, so you can stay tuned. And I'm super excited. And we're 2 weeks out from our 5K. 2 weeks. Don't forget to sign up if you're planning to come with us. And we will talk to you next week. Bye.